Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies. Didn't know much about it. I just thought it was about police brutality to coincide with our current climate, and heard it was good. I feel like I've been seeing only movies that I don't like or I'm just shitting on, so I'm trying to break that mold. Full disclaimer, and this won't exactly be a surprise to anyone who knows me very well, but I'm not a smart dude. Legal dramas are not generally my bread and butter. I do not always understand them. They like to use big and fancy words that just throw me off. And I can barely keep up with them, even in context. The best I can ever do is retain a sense of what's happening, as I'll never be able to follow the dialogue itself. This is my honest opinion of The Trial of the Chicago 7. Set in 1968, months ago, a group of 7 people, whom all didn't know each other at the time, began protesting against the Vietnam War in Chicago. In the present day, all 7 find themselves arrested on the grounds of trying to incite riots, which they all deny. A long trial is ahead of them as they plead their cases to a judge that seems increasingly unfair to the defendants. The movie's damn good. I really liked it. Very bracing, very impassioned, and at times kind of fun. I have to say, I was a little worried about it when it all started, very specifically at the trial. Like, we spend a good couple minutes on the hilarious foible of the judge mispronouncing characters' names. I'm not going to pretend to know if this actually happened during the trial, but it went on for way too long. Point is, questionable humor didn't really sit well with me. Until Abby opened his yapper. Abby is far and away my favorite character in the movie, and this is due in no small part to Sacha Baron Cohen. Now I have to stop the review for a minute here and talk about why this is so shocking for me. I hate Sacha Baron Cohen. For clarification, I mean his work, not the man himself. Granted, I've not seen everything that he's done. Borat came out at a time when I was more selective about the movies that I watched, and his humor just didn't seem like it was up my alley. Bruno came out, and that was critically panned, so I basically just assumed that he specialized in racist humor with no real intelligence behind it. So I was trying to steer away from ever seeing anything where he was starring in it. This changed in 2016 when I was around that time trying to watch every movie that came out, or at least that was the ambition. Very specifically, the movie I'm referring to is Brothers Grimsby, which has gone down in history as one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Over time, I've learned to not care about him as a leading man. His work was never going to appeal to me, so I would just appreciate him when he's in a supporting role. He was very funny in Hugo. Of all the things that I hated in Alice Through the Looking Glass, which was pretty much everything, Cohen was not the most egregious offender, and even though I don't remember what role he played in Sweeney Todd, if he didn't stand out, then I must not have had a problem with him. And now, there's this movie, which I personally believe to be his best role. Abby and by extension Jerry are my favorite characters. All they do is make fun of Judge Hoffman, even going so far as to openly mock him by showing up one day in judge robes. There's more to that scene, but that initial burst was just so great. They don't take their own court hearings seriously, and they do everything in their power to make sure that everyone knows it. Highly rebellious and cynical, they're just so much fun. But what really stands out about them is how they interact with other characters. While mostly getting along with pretty much the other guys, Rennie, Lee, John, and even their lawyer, William Costner, they do not see eye to eye with Tom, especially Abby. These two are constantly butting heads, having similar ideas and goals, but going about them and wanting to achieve them in very different ways. Everyone does a great job in their own right, and has their own time in the sun, which is utilized really well. David has a moment where even he defies the judge. Jerry gets obsessed with an undercover FBI agent who tried to seduce him. Rennie has a scene where he practically attacks an overzealous cop. And of course, Tom's outro to the movie is downright badass. But I wanted to spotlight some other talent that really stood out for me. Them being William Costner, played by the legendary Mark Rylance, and Judge Hoffman, played by the equally legendary Frank Langella. Hoffman is just despicable, cold and unfeeling. Basically, he's like me when I go to work. I'm just clocking in to get my paycheck. Fuck the rest of ya. Clearly a curmudgeon old man with that fucking kids on my lawn mentality. Literally the slightest thing that's askew in his courtroom, he can quickly go from an apathetic babysitter just waving his finger to downright hostile. One of the more haunting scenes is when Bobby Seale, played by Yahya Abdul Mateen II, does his usual thing of demanding a proper lawyer. But this time, he hits Hoffman's final nerve. Bobby gets dragged away by security, is beaten. The entire court is just on pause. And when Bobby comes back, he's chained up like you'd swear to God he was Hannibal Lecter, and he's gagged. And with that cold, unfeeling tone of his, Judge Hoffman asks him if he plans to talk back more. Horror movie monsters have made my skin crawl less. But I guess old white guys tend to have that effect on everyone these days. As for Rylance, I didn't really jump on board the love train until Bridge of Spies. But since then, I've pretty much loved him in everything that he's done, from the BFG to Ready Player One. He's been great or fun in some way, shape, or form. But this, goddamn, he brings an intensity that I had no idea he was capable of. I always thought of him as Halliday. Soft-spoken, sweet and gentle. But here, he gets frustrated, angry, and he raises his voice at Judge Hoffman that legit made me feel uncomfortable to sit where I was. Like when your school teacher just loses his cool. You just feel paralyzed and you're just like, damn man, you got a set of lungs on ya. All of this is what carried me through the film. That, and I love the idea of injustice being dragged out into the spotlight, kicking and screaming. Honestly, I don't have that much more to say about it. No, I didn't follow it that well, just a rudimentary understanding of what was going on. But when I was meant to feel outrage, I felt it. I enjoyed following these characters and how they interacted with each other. And yeah, it is a relevant story about peaceful people being made out like they're criminals and unjustly getting in trouble because higher-ups do not like it when people disagree with them. I really liked it. Check it out on Netflix. My honest rating for The Trial of the Chicago 7, a strong 4 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching it, guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Stay safe and healthy out there. Please wear a mask if you go out. Hope to see you soon.